As a career, there are several passions I had. I'm a really big fan of like, I spoke Spanish. I still speak Spanish fluently, actually, and I grew up wanting to, do that for quite some time. Be an interpreter in a hospital setting, and so that's something I learned that I really enjoyed doing, and I really love the culture of like the entire embodiment of the Hispanic culture. It was really cool to me to like learn about different cultures other than our own. I've been playing music total for around 9-10 years. I started an orchestral band and then moved on to other instruments. I played bass at my church, a stand-up bass. My first guitar, acoustic, I had a Yamaha that I still have. I don't really want to ever get rid of that. Still one of the better playing guitars I've got. And then for electric, I had an Ibanez Artist Black Les Paul style. I really like that guitar. Right now, I have, I think, 7. I've had that Ibanez that I sold off. I had a Dean that I rebuilt that I sold off. So I think total I've had, and a couple of acoustics that I bought and sold off, including the classic that I just didn't really use. So I'd say probably 11 total. I have a ton of inspiration. For bass, there was, for bluegrass in general, there was this one banjo player named Earl Scruggs. I grew up listening to the Eagles, and that's kind of influenced me a little bit in like soulful, bluesy, kind of mellow, soft rock feel, as well as bands like Aerosmith, which have that like bluesy, harder rock, then even forward on into what my probably biggest inspiration is actively, which is August Burns Red, kind of progressive, melodic, very, very pretty, but at the same time kind of in the face about it. They, the way they incorporate a lot of very different and very new and kind of off-the-wall ideas, I think has been a lot of fun for me to listen to. It's a lot of fun for me to try to emulate as a guitarist. You never want to just be playing the same things over and over again. You want to feel like you're actually progressing as a musician, and that's important for me. The song Internal Canon by August Burns Red was a song that I listened to, and it caught me off. It was one of those songs that I listened to, and the first couple times I listened to it, it caught me off guard. Because about like the minute and a half mark, there's this break into this Spanish guitar section, and then that goes away, and it goes back into like this really heavy section, and then back into another Spanish guitar section for a minute, and then into this like really powerful, like triumphant solo kind of thing. And that's the kind of like solo stuff that I would like to put in my music. I've been in about 5 total. I was in a band with bluegrass. Following that, I was in a band called City of Thieves. A brief stint in First FISA. And then I was in the band Home Away From Home for about 2 years, and then now Artificial Legends. I joined back in February when I met up with Maddie. We met up and started trying to like create music and make something out of this. Just 2 guitars for writing purposes and seeing where it could go, and it ended up becoming something that clicked. And then when that started to like mesh and click, and we started to actually create some songs that seemed reputable, then it ended up becoming a situation where we could start looking for other musicians that were of a kind of a like mind and create something that we felt like would be a good project to be a part of. It's the first band, first of all, that I've ever been the lead guitarist in. And that's been a really interesting experience for me, because that's never something, like I said, I've never done before. And because of that, I think it put me in a position to be able to kind of explore more of a forefront tone rather than a song-shaping tone. And that's not to downplay that. I think Matt does an excellent job at that. Matt does a very good job at shaping, and that's the big, that's the backbone of the band. But I think it was fun for me to step into that kind of position. But it's been one of the first bands that I felt like I could sit down and be inventive with, rather than kind of stick to a specific mold and a specific like template for every song. And I felt like I could really like expand who I was, and that's something that my bandmates have given me an ability to do, is be able to sit down and say, okay, well, I have this idea. well, you listen to it and everyone always says, yeah, absolutely. So that's been very special to me. I've always wanted to tour. I've always wanted to play professionally and be able to see like the reaction from people and how people kind of feed into what you're doing and are inspired or moved by what you're doing. I got a good little taste of what it was like to do that when I was 6. My dad was the pianist for a gospel group, a quartet, and he played at Camp Ridgecrest. It was a show I actually got to go to. They played at Camp Ridgecrest, and the crowd was 6,000 people, and I got to watch that, and I got to be there. And I actually got up on stage with him and sang "Jesus Loves Me" when I was 6 to a crowd of 6,000 people that then wildly applauded, and I thought that life would be pretty cool.
That's a lot of people. Does that ever make you nervous? Do you ever get nervous on stage?
I do, but it's mostly, I get nervous right before. I don't get nervous on stage as much anymore. I remember when I first started playing music, playing in front of people was the scariest part of it. And I would have rather been in a studio and playing and being recorded and been like, oh, I can just, why play it for you live when I can just show it to you? And now I'm the exact opposite. Where I would rather be up on stage and rather be playing for people, because feeling that like reaction, feeling someone actually enjoying and receiving your music, whereas a CD is it's impersonal. It still gets your music to people where you can enjoy it and you want to make a connection through your music specifically, but you can kind of feel like a personal connection when you're on stage. So it's not so much a nervous experience for me anymore as it is something I genuinely look forward to.
Hey guys, I'm Matty B. Thanks so much for watching Brandon's video bio. This is the first of many videos that we're going to be coming out with very shortly to help you guys get to know us. If you have any questions for the band or for Brandon, leave them in the comment section below. As always, please do like and subscribe to our channel. This is Artificial Oceans. Thanks so much.